Well, greetings, Four Color fans, and welcome back to another Meta-Rock video. Today I'm going to sort of do an addendum to some videos that I did earlier this year. But before that, I've kind of panned out here. So you can see my holiday festive decorations I have here on my taping table with the bee feeder. And we have, of course, those red doves with the red tails, and we have some holly, and we have some pears and bows and all kinds of shall we say decorations, right, for the season. So anyway, I just thought I'd show that just a couple of videos from now till early next year. We'll have this little setup, but I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so that you can see a little better the comics I'm going to show. And what I'm going to show today are the adventure comics that had the Legion on them from 1965 through 1969, I do believe. And the previous videos that I did about the Legions was my 25 years of the Legion from 1969 through 1980. I forgot what it was, 86, 89, somewhere in there. So actually it's probably 30 years. I should have, but this will go back even a little further. I was in the process, I think I mentioned in those videos that I was in the process of going backwards to get all the Karate Kid appearances. He first appeared in 346. But I went a little further back than that. I think I'm going to go back to my birth year, 1964. So I'm still going to go back a little further. I have more. I have a few more, but these are the ones that I have sequential. So I figured I'd just start here. And when I finish going back a little further, I'll do that video as well. Legion actually started as regular, the regular stars in Adventure Comics in 300. And then they appeared previous to that in sporadic issues. But I'm going to start with 331. It's actually the second part of a two-part story with the adult Legion of Supervillains here. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail. I haven't read all of these yet. I just completed the set not long ago. I went on a trip to Jacksonville and found several that I was missing there. Look, this is a shout out to Namen. Yeah, whales are monsters. Yeah, sorry, Gray Man. That is Superboy and the Super Moby Dick of space. That would have been a good one, but it didn't have the guy in the mouth. But anyway, shout out to Cover Slingers every Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern time on Gray Man's channel. This is a Civil War of the Legion. There's a cool story where they actually like go back in time and they sort of see that there's like two different groups of people. Well, I'm not going to get into a lot of details because, again, I haven't read them all, and the ones I did read was a while back. This is actually the unknown boy. Yeah, so, again, just you have to read the story to get it. And here is a Starfinger, but it's not really Starfinger. I think it's Lightning Lad. I'm going to show a few spoilers here. So back here, at this point, these were written by, I believe, Jerry Siegel wrote some. Edmund Hamilton, I believe, wrote some. I think late, and then of course later on Jim Shooter will write some as well. But I just thought I'd show you, what I have here. This is well, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but if you're married in the Legion, you're kicked off, and that they didn't actually get married there, but yeah, this is like the Super Brats, Super Babies one, yeah. And there's another one where that happens as well, and I'll get to that in a minute. And here's that famous Superboy's Mon-El fight with, is that Duplicate Boy? No, Beast Boy over here. Okay. And again, this is, I'm going to go 331 through the end of when they appeared, which is 380, by the way. Here's a good story here by Computo. Again, you're very, very odd looking. Remember, this is the mid-60s. Odd looking Computo there. Actually kills one of Triplicate's girls' clones there. And here, I think he also like takes over some of the Legionnaires' minds or something. I forgot exactly. I'm gonna put this snowflake over here because it keeps falling. That's a problematic snowflake here. Here's that story where Starboy kills this guy in self-defense, and he gets booted off the Legion because they have a no killing code under any circumstances. Here are the Luck Lords. Here's the Super Stalag of Space, a pretty good story as well. I think Brainiac 5 is captured and they come there to rescue him for kind of a prison break there story. And here is finally the first Jim Shooter scripts and the first Karate Kid, Princess Projectra, Pharaoh Lad, and Nemesis Kid. And he wrote this when he was, I believe, 13. So 1966, I want to say this is. Yeah, I think the checkerboard's around that time. Karate Kid, just a favorite character of mine. Doesn't have any superpowers per se. Here is like when they think he's a traitor, but actually it was Nemesis Kid, I do believe. But he just has his skills are just owned to the absolute perfection. The highest possible degree. Just amazing the way that there's Dr. Regulus, I believe Sunboy is a villain. There's Universo, the hypnotist. Again, his discipline, his dedication, and his constant physical conditioning just are inspiring to me. So he actually was able to grapple with Superboy for a while, which is again ridiculous, but still, just comes to show that the human beings can get to a certain level that mimics almost superpowers, right? Here's that story where there's a kryptonite cloud, so Superboy and Supergirl have to go into the past, and they're replaced by these two other characters. I'm not going to give away that story because it's kind of cool. That's the Legion, old Legion clubhouse. That looks like a crashed rocket. I always thought that was kind of cool. It's obviously much bigger inside. Here's that story with they have to look. They look for the Fatal Five because they can hopefully destroy the Sun Eater, which was just taking care of the whole galaxy. But of course, it doesn't quite work out as well. I think Pharaoh Lad is the one who ultimately defeats it. This is a real cool story with the adult Legion, and they call Superman from the past, but when they were adults. And you can see that Pharaoh Lad was killed, and there was this lady back here, Quantum Queen, which I believe she was part of the Wanderers. Chemical King was killed later on. And Shadow Woman, which is Shadow Lass, at some point would die. And Reflecto, and that was a cool story how they resolved that one. That was resolved back in the 70s or early 80s, I forgot. Here's another one with the Legion of Supervillains. Again, that's, I think, the second part of that story. And, oh, this is a cool little story where they're, the Legionnaires that didn't have parents at the time were converted into toddlers and were adopted by families, and it's just a disaster, as you can imagine. Here's 357. I haven't been saying the numbers here. I hope they're coming out okay on the video. I didn't want to take forever here. This is this guy, the hunter. I forgot what his name was. Kind of like a Craven hunter guy, but DC obviously. Oh, there goes my bow. Oh boy, I have to do a better setup here. Nice Kurt Swan cover here. Now the inside art, it's not the best. The Kurt Swan stuff is pretty good, as you can imagine. He has a good grasp of storytelling and character design, etc. But some of these, Jim Fort or John Fort and Win Mortimer cover interior art is tough to take. Later on, now the logo got shrunk here, as you can see. So it used to be this bigger rectangle. Now it's a much truncated one here. In a little bit, you're going to see some Neal Adams covers. Unfortunately, he did not do any interiors, which is just a shame because I would have loved to see him take on the Legion. This is a cool story with the super animals and how they were supposedly disrespected and they revolted. I think here starts the Neal Adams covers. And of course, really good stuff here. Let me just move this bow out of here. And there's the one with Validus, Fatal 5 story. Everything's falling here. Look at this. I gotta like do a better job there. These can be still had pretty cheap, by the way. I didn't pay much for any of these. Mostly like $2-3. A few I paid up for $4 or $5, but you know, the Neal Adams covers I think go a little bit more, obviously because it's, you know, Neal Adams. Here's that good Mordru story where he's released by mistake by a Legionnaire, I forgot who. And here's the one where he goes back to the 20th century, I believe. That's why you see Insect Queen, which is Lana Lang. You know, again, Shooter had some pretty good stories, I have to admit. Not everyone. Now there are a couple of duds in here, but overall it was, you know, an upgrade. You know, he had a much more action-packed and intriguing bend on the Legion than, you know, the previous writers. Here's the Tornado Twins, who were descendants of a superhero. I won't say which one, but they were mighty quick. And we're getting to the end here. Notice there again, these Neal Adams covers are pretty cool. And I think he inked a few. This one he might have just inked. I'm not too sure about that. I have to do a little bit more research on these, but I just wanted to show you these before I'm going to go through and read all of these. And this is a cool story about them actually asking for money for their, because of drug, it's complicated. And here's like, they were all poisoned or whatever, so they had to, I forgot what they had to do to they had to get some antidote or something. And here are the last two. It ends at 380. And no, Superboy was not eaten by that giant monster, but it was, you know, the way that the story was manipulated, it made it seem as such. So that's it. That's Adventure Comics 331 through 380. And again, 346 to 380. Most of those had Karate Kid. Those are the ones that I wanted to sort of focus on because I wanted to get all the Karate Kid appearances, and I now have that. Between this and the regular Legion run and the Action Comics run, I'm going to put those videos, those links below in case you're interested. Again, I think I cut it up into 3 different parts because they're, you know, it's 20, almost 30 years of comics there. So it's a lot of comics to show, but so I kind of put it in bite-sized pieces there. All right, everybody. Thanks again for coming by. I will definitely have a video next weekend, and then I'll be off visiting my daughter for a while. Of course, I want everyone to, you know, just have a great holiday season. You know, I'm gonna use a tag from my friend Jason from Heroes to Icons, right? Be great and do great. And I think that's a great sign off. Obviously, more greats there. I think that's something we can all sort of try to elevate to, right? Be the best that we can be in all situations, especially during the holidays. But I'll end up with my actual sign off, which is be kind to each other, be blessed, and be back.